Okay, folks, what the hell night is it? Thursday. Thursday evening. The week is almost done, and that's a good thing, because this week has been a bitch. Welcome back. Hello, Kevin. And, yeah, we're going to get back into painting some Byzantines. And hopefully we can get some of them done, or get another one done. Small goals. And I got something in the mail that, I don't know, I just kind of bought it on a whim. I don't know if it's going to be that useful, but I just figured if I'm going to be working on this stuff, I probably need to have this. And that is the Osprey. It's the essential history. Of course I need it, even though I've listened to two whole books on the Byzantines recently. And I'm reading a third one, which I meant to talk about yesterday, but didn't get around to. I'll get to that in a little bit. But this is Osprey's Byzantium at War, and it's been out for a few years. I might even say it's 20 years old, because, you know, the last 20 years have just flown by. But let's see. This is, first published 2002. So, yeah, it's 20 years old. So, anyhow, lots of maps and stuff in here, so... Ooh, formations and shit. Anyhow, I don't think it's going to be that useful as far as the artwork. I just got kind of all the history in one place, even though I've read a lot of it recently. And there's things that I find more interesting than others, but I figured it was a time to get this while I'm working on this army. And it actually covers a good chunk of the period. Including one army that's in the 600s that I plan on doing was the Heraclean as well. At some point, I will probably do that. At some point, I have the figures for them. So, anyhow, to be continued. It's funny. The cover of it is. I guess it's a new thing that they're doing now. That the covers on these books, they almost impregnate it with rubber, and that's a good thing. I actually like the way this feels, but. I am super anal retentive when it comes to books. I like to have them and read them and not damage them at all in the process. So, anyhow, well, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. So, books on the Byzantines. I think I've done 3. I've done 3, and I'm starting a 4th one. And they're all kind of lacking in a way. They don't get into the details that I would like for them to be in. So I think at some point I'm probably going to pick up the Byzantine podcast, which I had listened to probably all the way until like the 800s, and just gave up, just lost interest. The subject matter is really interesting. The guy's just way too monotone for my taste. But I did listen to it for quite a while, and so maybe I'll have to fast forward to the spot where around 1000 or 1040 or something like that, and see if I get some juicy ideas for some battles and stuff like that. So, anyhow, the last book I'm reading, one of you guys recommended a historical fiction, and I forget who it was. It may have been, I don't know who it was. But they recommended the a series called, I think it was called Tyrant, and it's like a 6-part series, and it starts with like an Athenian commander with Alexander the Great. It's all historical fiction, so this is just a make-believe person, but it's okay. I read a couple of chapters of it, and then put it down because I'm not working on those period of armies right now. And I'm just gonna keep chatting while I finish painting his shoes, because I did not finish this guy yesterday. He still needed shoes on. In my haste of exiting the program yesterday, I forgot the shoes. But anyhow, so I started looking around, and there happened to be, I actually don't know how I came across it. There's another series. I don't think it's the same author. I really don't know how I came across it on Audible. That's the it's called Strategos, and it is a character that is in this same time period that I am painting, which is the 1040s. 1040. It starts in the 1040s, so I'm enjoying that one a little bit more, only because it's relevant to what I'm painting. So anywho, so I just figured I'd share that with you. But if you listen to enough Byzantine stuff, some of this history is really complicated. After you hear it over and over again, you're like, oh, I know who's coming up next. It's the guy that got his nose cut off, or what have you. You start to kind of remember of kind of what order people go in after getting bombarded with it enough times. So, and I like books, but I can get through the Osprey book, but a real book, I don't have time to sit down and really look through it. There's always something better to do. If I'm reading, it puts me to sleep, and I'm not painting. So, and I'm making videos. I'm not painting. So, and we need to paint so that we can make more armies, more matchups, more stuff. Which Byzantines am I doing? Well, right now I'm doing book 377, or is it 76? Constantinian Byzantine. And then I'm going to morph into the A and the B list of the Komnenan Byzantine. So all the heavy cavalry will be the same in all three armies. I'm not going to differentiate between them. I'm not going to make ones that look like knights or what. They're the same damn figures. So that'll be common to them. The Saloy will be common to all of them. There's only one state of Saloy anyways, but so we're doing the Constantinian one first because it has a command post that is always good for yucks. And I think a lot of people just aren't familiar with how those things operate. So it's another opportunity to kind of show you how those things work. And this guy, I have to do his eyes. I don't know if I'm going to do his eyes tonight. It's unlikely. I got a little bit of the shakes, very little bit of the shakes, because just came back from the gym. So we may leave that for another day. Yeah, I just went to a war game show recently, a couple of weeks ago, and I was surprised how many people just were in really bad shape. So I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive. Not that I'm in particular bad shape, but a lot of people just fall apart when they retire. And I got a lot of things to do when I retire, so we got to stay healthy. we got way too many things to do. If I'm going to die, I want to die now, not when I'm retired. Wait, that didn't come out right. I got too many things to do. All right. Other figures. We have another guy that's in the same pose. I didn't know I had three guys in the same pose. Well, that's fine. He's a good pose. All right. Well, this guy looks like he's got... it was paint. It wasn't flash. All right. There was like almost looked like a mold line. All right, we can just do that again in black. It doesn't have to be the primer one. As soon as I find where the hell it is. You're working on early Byzantines. Got to do Belisarius. Not really happy with museum miniatures. I've got a ton of that. Well, the good thing is now if you do that army, you've got those beautiful figures from Forged in Battle. They're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, I've got a lot of those Belisarius period figures for the Byzantines. When I do Belisarius, I'm going to do him and the Heraclean one together because I'll use the same cavalry for both. You know, the Heraclean foot is spear. It's 3 stands of spear, and the early Byzantines are 2 stands of blade, and they're both scutatos. It's just a matter of how they fought or whatever. That was one of the things I had the most problems with DBA first getting into it. I'm like, well, why does this guy have like a long spear but he's considered a blade, and why does this guy have it didn't match the equipment, and it took me a while to kind of get over that. But I've got the foot on both of them. But yeah, the museum figures are weird. They're weird. They're just weirdly proportioned. And I've got a lot of guys. I picked them up for like $1 a pack, and maybe you'll understand why somebody was selling them. But that was even before the Forged in Battle guys came out. All right, so we got another guy that's the same pose. So we got to alter what he's wearing a little bit. This guy's going to have a gray. Most of his shirt is going to be gray. I just made a decision from above. That's what we're going to do. Yeah, you got to do Belisarius. I got to do the Belisarian army because they're a match pair for my Ostrogoths. And yeah, if I do Belisarius, I can bitch about Justinian the whole time I'm playing. Everybody likes that guy. Everything I've read about him seems like he's a dick. I wouldn't have done well the way that Belisarius got screwed. Trying to be a loyal guy, I ended up getting, treated like a bitch by Belisarius' wife, and his own damn wife. But he was a badass. There's no doubt about it. He knew what he was doing. But I guess his wife and Justinian's wife were buddies, and they were both ladies of the stage, which was not thought of very well in that time period. Yes, Hollywood's even had a worse time period than now. I think some miniature manufacturers made their figures for WRG7. Probably. That was before my time. Which is probably a good thing. I don't have to unlearn a bunch of stuff. All right. That's why I'm glad I never got to play DBA before 2.2. I just have to unlearn more stuff. I think I would have enjoyed it, but if you're going to make me base guys differently, they need to behave differently. So the problem I always had with 2.2 was you take something like an 8 bow. In 2.2, it got treated exactly the same as a 4 bow or a 3 bow or whatever. That's just nonsense. That's just nonsense to do that. They don't have to be badass in every way. They just have to be different. I mean, you made me base them differently. They might as well behave differently. I mean, that's not the complicated part of the rules. The complicated part of the rules is the damn conforming. The combat and the factors is the easiest part of the rules, Nathan Sheeks. Hey man, welcome. Just started DBA, been using your channel, try to learn. Thanks for all the content. You're welcome, Nathan. What part of the world do you hail from? Because you could be really from anywhere, because somebody was saying it should be Aguilar, AGE, Aguilar Global Entertainment. Hey, I'm just kind of doing this for, just because it's fun to do. Well, I'm doing this so I could stay on track, but the games and stuff, you know, it was a big shift. There was a big split in the community just before I started doing these games, videos. I didn't want all these hundreds of hours that I've spent painting these armies to like nobody want to play the game. That was really it. And, you know, the rules are just, they're difficult as shit to understand. They really are. And I mean, I come from a background of complicated rules like advanced squad leader and stuff like that. But, you know, they're written in a normal way. These are abnormally written. So they're very difficult for new players to pick them up. I know, I've been a new player and I've just been scratching my head, you know. But, I mean, even with, and I just broke 2,000 games, we still encounter new things every day. So, you know, the fact that they're, you know, simple rules, supposedly, that is not accurate. There's a lot more to them than meets the eye. And maybe that's why I've been playing no other miniatures for the last 20 years, because it's always a surprise. There's always excitement stuff. If you watched any of our videos, you know that we have Wisconsin, okay, the cheese land, yeah, land of cheese. And what else you guys got up there? You got those cheese curds and beef sticks. Mitch is over there from that part of the world-ish, right there on your border, and he always brings back those beef sticks. Another Packers fan. You'll be rooting for Mitch the whole time. I think Mitch wears Packers underwear if he could get away with it. I wouldn't know. I'm not doing that kind of an inspection on him. But so I just didn't want this, you know, hundreds of hours that I've poured into these armies just to disappear, because nobody can get. First of all, nobody could get the rules. You know, they solved that with being printed on demand on Lulu, but it was like, you know, you come up with the rules and then, you know, people want the rules and there's none available. We have to wait on another printing. People are just going to walk away from that. So, luckily, I think the rules are very affordable. I think they're a really good value for the money. I don't think they're even $40, and they come with all the army lists and everything in there. And I mean, as somebody said, they're not army lists. They're not army lists. They're checklists. I want this army and this one and this one and this one and the other one. Mr. Dirk, welcome. Clay, welcome to lunch hour. What are you having for lunch? You guys eat that stuff that's over there that your neighbors next door eat? Marmite? Or is Marmite the English thing? I don't know. I don't think that I've tried that before. I'm not opposed to it. I may hate it, but it's, you know, it's not like it's the liver of an animal. You know, it's a byproduct of beer, right? How bad could it be? Get Mitch some Packers socks. That way he might just wear them. Yeah. I went to a high school that had the same colors as the Packers, and I hated the colors. I don't have a problem with green. I don't have a problem with yellow. Actually, that green's, but together, ugh. You know, so that's it. Other than that, I don't necessarily have anything against the Packers. Just reminds me of high school colors that I hated. So. Yeah, if he wears Packers socks, though, some people will tune out. I'm sure there's somebody watching because of his feet. There might only be one person, but you know, I have over 1,500 subscribers, so 1 out of 1,500 isn't. You're right. Probably nobody wants to see his feet. Now it's just kind of been it's just taken a life of its own. Taken on a life of its own. So to be honest with you, I didn't feel like doing this tonight. I wanted to do something else, like maybe play some Rome Total War or something like that. I don't know. Just something to, not that I would play that for very long. I'd find a way how to play that stuff live and maybe do that. I've gotten used to, I don't really like hanging out by myself. It's just kind of boring. Like something really cool happens and I've got nobody to share it with, you know? That's the best thing about the battle. Some really cool things we encounter, and you guys get to see it. Marmite, personally hate this stuff, but it's very popular here. Okay, I've never tried it. Never tried it. It's got to be better than that. Black pudding. Oh, that's the stuff where I draw the line. I'm not eating parts. If I gotta eat those kind of animal parts, I'll be a vegetarian. Not a vegan. I don't care if the animals get molested. Vegetarian. If gotta eat blood sausage and things like that. No thanks. I'll pass on that. Something weird is going on with this brush. I'm not really sure what the hell's going on. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can clean this thing up a little bit. Nordic Maelstrom, there you are. Nordic, did you recommend any books for me? I'm trying to figure out who recommended a certain book series, and I was thinking it may be you, only because you're on a lot, and if it wasn't you, I don't like to give somebody else credit that they didn't, but you know, I'm just thinking it might have been you. Oh, that took all that stuff right off. Yeah, this stuff works wonders. I mean, between this brush cleaner and the magic drippings, as I call them, which all it is Vallejo airbrush thinner. It really avoids the paint from clumping up. However, with these cheap ass brushes, you still get that little turn at the very end, you know. So, black pudding is delicious. No, you can have mine. No, bacon, sausage, and. You curse the brush. Black pudding, hell no. See, that's where I would take Marmite instead. Because even though Marmite may taste yucky, I'm not grossed out by what it is. It's not like, you know, made out of, you know, animal stuff. But, you know, you can have my share. If I come across any. See, pudding, for starters, is automatically a sweet thing. So I just assume, I hear something, da-da-da-da, pudding. Pudding should be something sweet. It's like a dessert item. And if you're having black pudding for dessert, you're in a world of trouble. Times are tough. Well, this is the third figure that looks the same. Because these three are the same, and then these two guys are the same. And I hope to God these guys mesh okay on a stand. I've got my doubts. Hopefully that spear doesn't stick too far out, and I'm going to be hating every time those guys go into contact with the enemy. Recommended Last Kingdom, Grail Saga, Warlord Saga from Bernard Cornwell. Somebody recommended Tyrant, and I started reading that one. And then I was talking about it earlier, it was good. It was good, but it didn't grab me because I'm not working on that time period stuff right now. And then I found, I don't know how the hell I found it, this series called Strategos. I think the whole series is Strategos, but it's in this time period of this. So the character is he's a Byzantine cataphractoi leader. So far, so good. I had credits I needed to use anyway, so. Try Haggis. No, absolutely not. You said screw it, put your AC in the window here. You know, window ACs are kind of primitive. But they work really, really well because you immediately get air conditioning. You don't have to wait for it to go through all your house and everything. I lived, one of the first apartments I lived, my first apartment had window AC unit, and it worked really well. The AC said the temperature here was 86 degrees. Oh, no. No. That's way too hot. Watch your DBA 3.0, learn how to play. It was very helpful. Yeah, the problem with doing how to play is you always leave things out. Something gets left out. So, I don't really want to make videos that are specifically how to play 3.0 because it's really unsatisfying to give up my time to recreate a video that no matter how hard I try, I'm going to leave something out. And it's not going to cover everything. And, you know, they're not my rules to do. I mean, the author should have done a better job of explaining the rules. He really should have. I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying, you know, he may understand his rules, but the rest of us just kind of, you know, we want to get it right. I don't really have an agenda where something needs to be a certain way. But anyhow, I don't think it's my place to do that. And I may end up doing an interpretation or something that is not what the author intended. So if I'm doing that much amount of work, I'd have just come up with my own set of rules. It's a lot less work. And they'd be a lot clearer to understand. You wouldn't need to have an unofficial guide or something for it because they'd be written in a more modern thing. But that's retirement stuff, if it ever happens. So it is therapeutic to paint. It is not therapeutic for me to work on rules and have people argue about them. It's not my idea of a good time, so. But that's not really my place to do that. What did I do wrong? Why do I have to come up with an unofficial guide or something like that? Let somebody who hasn't done a bunch of videos do that. There's one person in particular that I think that would be really good at doing that likes to argue about rules all the time. That's not anybody in my play group, but why should I be punished? Is Strategos the historical fiction you during the last solo video? Yes. It's a series of books. Yeah, it's a series. It's like 5 or so. The house I live in is 130 years old. Shit, Florida isn't 130 years old. The wiring sucks in here and we can't get central heating or cooling. Holy cow. That's old, man. That's older than Florida. I'm of the opinion as well, Tony. I'm at the point, take what I like from the rules, make them homebrewed set that fits my needs. Yeah. Well, we got some pretty good ideas. You know, and I'm telling you, we got pretty good ideas because we've been playing this for a while, and and I've play tested something that we've been working on we played about a dozen times, and it's like I don't think it's not the time for it right now, and you know, I've said this before. I will always be playing with these armies. So if I was to do a homebrew set, it comes with no army list. You got to buy 3.0, and Phil Barker gets the money for that, or Phil Barker's descendants, or whatever the hell it is. You know, I would make something that's free. You know, I'm not going to take the money away from him. You know, and you give him the credit. You don't be like, oh well, you know, this is the legacy game. You know, that's just bullshit. You know, you got to give people credit where credit's due. You know, if it wasn't for Phil Barker, we wouldn't be playing this. You know, whether you like him, don't like him, or whatever. I happen to like the guy. I just wish that, you know, his, and I think he's really sharp, and he's spot on a lot of things. It's just, you know, he doesn't write for mortals. So. You know, you can't take his work and charge for it. It's just, you know. Where were you raised in? A den of thieves? I mean, you know. Rules lawyers, like all lawyers, are lower than low. Yeah, the problem is they have an agenda. And I'd be a terrible lawyer. I'd be like, sorry, dude, you're guilty. You're going to burn. I'm not defending somebody that's guilty. Area is originally settled by Europeans in 1730. He hailed from the old colonial part of Pennsylvania. Yeah. It's been hot this week. I'm outside all the time for work, so the last thing I want to do is sweat while I'm home. That's about the last thing. Do we have any brown that's working here? I think this is a brown. Let's do white pants with the brown. Seems the common denominator on some of the how people have painted these Armenians is they have light colored pants, which seems extremely impractical. If you're going to have something dark on you, it should be the pants. And no, not because you're going to go to the bathroom, but, you know, just stomping through, you know, muck and stuff, you know. It just seems like that would be, if you're going to have something dark, let it be your pants, but I don't know. One man's impracticalities, another one's fashion statement. Oh, let's remember where we left off. So, you know, by the time you know, rewrite the rules with bullet points in a modern way and everything, it's like it's a lot less work than just creating your own set of rules. You know? But, you know, don't go and charge for them. It's the principle that counts. I'm a person of principle. So, now if I could sell one copy and then retire, well, you know, maybe I can compromise my principles a little bit, but you know, that isn't going to be the way, you know. Austrian uniforms and Napoleon Islands being all white is impractical with the French uniforms of the American War of Independence. The bright side of a white uniform is you never will be in want of a white flag. Yeah. Use somebody's pants for a flag. We surrender. That's not a white flag. That's That's got a brown stripe on it. Never mind. Now, what were you just talking about French and brought up surrender? Just thought I'd bring that up. I'm not one of those people that likes to rip on the French. I don't have anything against them compared to anybody else, but you know, I got several people that watch this channel are from France, and that's not why I'm saying it. I'm just being realistic. I mean, France is going to be the U.S. is going to be exactly like France is. France was a world power, and through things that happened, they've lost their prestige level where they were, and same thing's going to happen to us. And there's going to be people that have chips on their shoulder about it. Just shit happens. I think you mean a yellow stripe. I had a friend of mine he would just refuse to play anything French. I'm like, why? What did they do? Pee on you or something like that? He didn't even know a French person. And the way I look at it is you can't judge all people the same. What if everybody that lived in the United States was judged by people that were from New York? Well, that wouldn't be very fair, would it? I don't have anything in common with those folks. So I try to do the same thing. I actually don't pick on the French during World War II. I do pick on the Italians. Okay. Back when I used to do naval wargaming, French versus Italian was really cool. Both of those have some beautiful ships. Absolutely beautiful ships. What's next? Les Spear. I just don't like the French when they're fighting my Spanish bastards. Other than that, I got a few French armies, and I want them to win. I want them to win no matter who I'm playing, Even when it's the bloody Turks. I want my Turks to win. Poor bastards are 16 and 32 or something like that. But I try to win with them every time. You got done with a live video. You did a live video? I actually didn't feel like doing this, but we're going to power through it. I'm not going to get this army painting by not painting it, so. And the only way I get another army to paint is if I'm done with this one, so there you go. And the command post. The command post is going to be so freaking cool. It's going to be so freaking cool. It's going to be cooler than the Pope's command post. I got big plans for these guys. He may not fight worth a damn, but that's irrelevant. That's neither here nor there. So freaking cool. I'm guessing. I'm betting on me. But I can't just roll in and do that. I got to earn it. I got to paint the rest of the army. We'll do him last. We're gonna have all the spears wood color in these spearmen. Probably won't be the case on the mounted troops. They'll be all fancy and shit, or fancier. So, you'd like to build a French army of Charles the Hammer Martel. I forget if he's in a Merovingian list or he's in the Carolingian. I'm pretty sure he's a Merovingian list. A couple knights, maybe a light horse or a cav. A lot of spearmen. Maybe a bow or two and some skirmishers. Cool in the Pope's command? Yeah, I'd be cool in the Pope's command. Yeah. Tony, need to get the miniatures that paint themselves or get the contrast paints and speed paints which look like crap. Save the whites. Yeah. Nah, I can't do that. I can't, they're not for me. They're not made for me. I'm not convinced the contrast paint, speed paints are an asset to the painting hobby as they were intended. You have some great uses for advanced painting techniques, though. Yeah, that's like putting training wheels back on my bike. They're not made for me. If it helps other people with a hobby that get frustrated, I want to continue painting better and better and better. There's people that I admire that paint, figures, wargaming figures, because we're not talking about, the people that do like Verlinden things that are, 54 millimeter or something like that. I'm talking like, war game scale figures, 15s and stuff like that I really admire. And I've seen a couple of their videos where they have shown their techniques. Yeah, their shit takes forever too, So cutting corners is not the way forward for me. The best thing I can do is just paint frequently and not get sidetracked on different projects. Once I start, like the Byzantines, for instance, I'm not going to start anything else, It doesn't matter how tempting it is. Tough titty, I don't get to do them, That's what works for me. It may not work for other people, but that's what keeps me going. Is once I start something, that's what I'm going to finish, or I'm not going to paint anything again, because and I don't have that many, but I've got a few onesies and twosies here. I've got some of my Athenian troops here that have never got painted. Here's one of my Athenian spearmen. Hang out. I've probably painted this guy, 15 years ago, waiting on the rest of his army. Seiston figure. Yeah, it's too blurry from this distance. Anyhow, I've got 5 Athenian figures that just waiting for the rest of their army to show up. So, his range 714 to 741. Guaranteed is a Merovingian. Probably going to be a Merovingian list. Oh shit! I'll look at it because I want to see how close I was on the army composition. And I really knew the 2.2 army compositions, because when I was doing 2.2, that was before the internet. And what I mean by before the internet, there was an internet, but we didn't have it in the palm of our hand everywhere we went. So, I didn't carry around that book as an entertainment value where I was looking for it all the time. And so this may have changed a little bit, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a low book 3 list. Let's see what they are. I guess I better put on my glasses, or there we go. Or I gotta get really close to the paper to be able to see it. All right, let's see where we're at. The list is every time I turn the page, I get closer. No, it's Carolingian. Carolingian starting 639. Wow, that's pretty freaking early. Okay, this list covers, well, that's a totally different army. I know what the Carolingian list is. The Carolingian list has a lot of knights. This list covers the Frankish army from the death of Dagobert I, the last effective Merovingian king, until the final partition of Charlemagne's empire. After the death of Dagobert, the mayors of the palace became effective rulers, and one of them, Charles Martel, gained victories over the Arabs at Tours and Poitiers in 732. His descendants, the Carolingians, took the throne in 751. Under Charlemagne, 768 to 814, the empire expanded on all frontiers, but his descendants could not control such a large area and spent much time fighting each other. In 888, the empire split into eastern and western portions. Swabian and Bavarian cavalry fought better on foot. Whether the select levy fought with sword and big shield before Charlemagne is disputed. So here's your army list. You get a knight general, 2 more knights, 2 knights that can dismount in the middle of gameplay as blades. That's Swabians or Bavarians. Or they can have a Saloy instead and a light horse. So you either get 2 knights that can dismount as blades, or a Saloy and a light horse. Then you've got 1 knight or cav, and then 4 select levies, which are either all solid blades or all solid spears until 814. Then they're all solid spears. So if I was going to build them, I'd probably use guys that have some blades in them, so then you don't have to paint blades and spears. You can just, you can tell your opponent what they are for that battle. Then they have 1 unit that's a fast bow or a Saloy, and then another unit that's a Saloy or a solid horde, aggression 3 arable. Yeah, pretty cool list. Only 1 shooter at the most. Carolingians, and they've got a very specific headgear to them. They have a headgear that nobody else uses. Be right back, just spilled stuff. Okay. I gotta get another refreshment, and I gotta use the little boys' room, and then I'll be right back. So I'm just gonna pop the microphone and let it run. Be right back in less than 5. Okay, I'm back. God, I hate making a mess. Now I have to immediately do a load of laundry. Yeah. I would just switch the laundry. What was that? I hate making a mess too. I'm an asshole, not incompetent. There's nothing endearing about a klutz. And a lot of it is saved by having a relatively clean work area. Even though this is a zoo. This is a freaking zoo here. See if I can give you an idea of what we're looking at. Look at this shit. I got stuff everywhere. Well, this is what everybody's area looks like. You know, this is what happens. You start pulling paints out, and they're all over the place, you know, waiting. So, it's all Byzantine stuff, though. All right, we'll pick it up over the weekend. All right. 9 o'clock. Come on. We got another half hour in us. All right. Don't worry about the shield right now. Let's do his face. Do him in the face. Do him in the face. There is red leather. And I'm terrible about going and like put your collar back where it goes, you know. We already got took a little clump of nothing, just a little bit of this can't take care of. I want to keep that paint from binding to the bristles, and then it becomes a thing that takes a long time to get out. Yeah, see, it's good as new. It hasn't even bent yet. Hasn't even curled yet. So what army list is Charles Martel the Hammer? It is Carolingian Frankish. I unfortunately didn't catch that as I had to take my headphones off to clean the mess up. Man, what did you do? You do your own stunts. Carolingian Frankish. I did not comprehend that the Carolingian list started as early as 639 or 638. That's pretty damn early. I thought that was still wasn't that time period yet, but I was thinking it was the Frankish list before, but you can't have this thing blowing up, lifting up with the wind every time I look around. Let's add a little bit more of this red leather. So I'm perfectly happy getting to the point where I got his eyes and his shoes to paint on this guy. We'll try to get to that. dropped me your dinner plate and got ketchup all over the place. Oh, I'd have to burn the freaking house down. The top fell off his sippy cup and he spilled his juice everywhere. I'd rather have, you pick your choice of juice. I'd prefer that to ketchup. God, I'd burn a whole neighborhood down. Have to call in Ukraine and drop a drone on your ass. God, I hate ketchup. Including my damn blanket, which I had to go to the wash immediately. Live out of 2 rooms, so this room is my bedroom and living room. Yeah, I'd rather live out of a sippy cup than have ketchup once. I don't even like it when other people have ketchup. I don't know. It must be the white vinegar. Something happened. I'll have to do that as a science. Well, that'd be a bad science experiment with me. Sugar and white vinegar, when they mix together, just makes a toxic. There's a little bit of sugar in ketchup. It's not the tomato part. Tomatoes and I are, we're good with that. It's that, man, whatever it does to it, it just. I had a coworker that he would just drown his food, and he's all the way on the other side of the office. He'd stink up the whole damn office of ketchup. I don't know. It's pretty much a toss-up whether I like communist or ketchup better. Kind of leaning towards the communist. They don't smell as bad. Oh, man. I was getting cold from the AC, wanted a blanket, damn it. I can't ever use a blanket. I use a blanket, I'll be cold, use a blanket, then I'm hot. Of course, I've been in menopause for about 30 years, so. Did I say 30? I meant 40. I'm always hot. Always. Always. Unfortunately. But I can't take cold showers. That's a no-no. And that's like the only tomato thing I don't like because, I like cocktail sauce quite a bit. I mean, cocktail sauce with fries is cool. It's just whatever the hell is in ketchup. It makes you want to punch a baby. I mean, not just any random baby, like Hitler, baby Hitler. Come on. There was some conversation one time. I think I was having it with a wife. And it had to do with time travel. It's like, if you could go back in time and try time travel, would you kill baby Hitler? And she's like, I don't know if I could do it. I said, well, you got to make sure it's the right baby. But I'd kill him every freaking time. Every time. Absolutely, every time. I was eating meatloaf and I don't like it without ketchup. Get a good education, make some money, and more living space. Technically, it was a bed sheet. Gravity is just enough to keep me comfortable. Yeah, I wish I could do something different, but oh well, I just got to do it another 17 years or 16 years or something like that. I'm ready to retire now, man. I got lots of stuff to do. I'm not going to be one of those, I'm still going to work because I'm bored. Not this guy. Not this guy. I'm not going to sit around and watch television or whatever the hell they have back then. Back then, in the future, you know what I mean. You know, they say exercising for your brain is good for you, man. We play these war games. Unless you're playing mindlessly rolling a ton of dice, man, we're always using our damn brains. You know, it's fun. It's fun to think. It is. That's why, you know, I don't really get drugs. I like to think all the time. I just want to think about what I want to think about, you know. I don't want to necessarily think about, what'd you think about today? Well, our mission statement. Screw that crap, you know. I mean, I'm always learning stuff. Wargaming's always been about learning things, and this guy looks kind of like a Mongol. He's ahead of his time. A proto-Mongol. If you had to kill either baby Hitler or baby Stalin, which one do you off? We could just let the Germans win the First World War, and they don't have to kill either one of them. Oh, I went there. That's always my scenario that I wonder what would have happened. Or just not even have it. That's an even better idea. You damn Carthaginian. Oh, man. Carthaginians kill their own kids. You know, not a future dictator. All right, what color hat's this clown gonna have? I'm gonna do a light gray one. Hell with it. That's what I feel like. The best plans are no plans. Well, that's how I feel about vacation. Sometimes the best vacation you can have is, you know, maybe you want to go to a certain place in the world, but then once you get there, you know, just kind of wing it. I think that I'm certainly happier when things like that happen, because then you don't have any. I'm all about expectations. So I have this, if I have an expectation something's going to be easy and it's not, I am pissed. So it's better to not have any expectations, because then you just kind of roll with the punches. Snoop Dogg. Well, thanks. Thanks, Wayne. Now I know one quote from Snoop Dogg. I couldn't even name one song that Snoop Dogg is known for. I just really can't. But I'm not exactly one who's on the cutting edge of rap and hip hop. So, and even if I was, I'm kind of hard of hearing, so I'm really bad at lyrics. So I wouldn't even know what the hell the song was about. That's just normal old me. Will be a cold day in hell when I take advice from Snoop Dogg. Carthaginians. If the Carthaginians could have killed a future dictator, they would have. I don't know. One day I will build a Carthaginian army, because I think it's a very challenging army to play with. You know? But, you know, when one of the people that I play with all the time happens to have an army, I mean, why build that one when I can just build a different one? It's not like Mitch went and every army he has is my people, like the Spanish or something like that. Well, them's fighting warriors. We're building all those armies too, you know? But, so there's, if I'm dead set on painting an army, I'd paint one that somebody's already doing, but. You know, I was going to do Italian cantata. Joe came around. We started playing DBA. That was one of the armies he did. All right, he can have them. I'll do them some other time, or not at all. You know? So. I'm flexible. I mean, there's only like 15 armies I don't want to build, so it may not even be 15. And no, they're not all in book 1, but most of them are. They probably all don't have a flag. That's a big selling point for me, is to paint a flag for somebody. Or that's a big selling point. Flags and shields. An army with nothing but flags and shields. And I don't hand paint flags anymore. I mean, I can if I need to, but it's not very time efficient. So what I've been doing is I've been printing them out after I took some artwork off the internet and doctored it up and then print it out. So I'm printing it out after it's been doctored up in a paint program that I basically shade like I normally do my figures anyway. So it's kind of the same but different, you know. All right. Shield for this guy. Let me look in the Prentice archives. Be a great army to paint. A little bit of everything. No, it has no blade. And it has no bow. Two of my favorite things. Has Mitch ever painted an army? So Mitch has painted one, according to him, he's painted only one thing. It was a Civil War regiment, so about 20 or 25 figures in 15 millimeter scale. They're Confederates for, I want to say Johnny Reb or something like that. He showed them to me one time, and they weren't painted. They weren't painted bad enough to say the guy shouldn't paint. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, he'd rather do something else. So, yeah. So, it doesn't really matter how badly you paint as long as you're happy with the results. You know, as long as you use Litco stands or something that's, you know, where the armies fit together, you don't have a problem with that. All right, let me look at my Pinterest thing. Sorry I can't take you guys there. It's just too difficult. I'm too much of a noob to know how to do that. Maybe one day I can do that. Oh, it wasn't on Pinterest. It was just a Google image search. All right, so let's open it up. One of my favorite things to do. Armenian Spear. Here it is. Armenian Spearman. Okay. And images, some inspiration. Well, I'm not going to give this guy a cross because the other two guys with the same pose also have a cross. All right. Well, I think I'm going to have to cogitate about what I'm going to do with that. Do lots of flags using graphic software at work. Need specific flags done, let me know. Could also adjust them nicely to scale. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do them at work. I got to do them on my computer. They don't take that long to do. Let's see. And then if you screw it up, you just print out another one. I'm going to punt, and I'm going to call it a night on this one. I'll have to think about what I'm going to do on this last one, but because it's almost 9:30 anyway. So, thanks for stopping by, folks, and keeping me company. We will have some painting on Saturday morning, unless something happens to me and I'm not able to. But that's the plan, and continue these Armenian spearmen until they're done. So, I'll have to think about what I'm going to do. Certainly not. I don't want these guys are not really professional soldiers, so I am going to have some barren shields on some of them without any devices and stuff on there. So this might end up being one of those guys that's on there. I'll think about it overnight on it. But as always, thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys soon. Happy painting, and it's not TGIF yet. That'll be at this time tomorrow, or in Dirk's case, shortly.